The following report contains a Zoom conversation that was filmed on February 10th, 2021.
Live from the rented New York City apartment of Deshawn, as well as the Zoom locations of Ohio, Florida, and North Carolina is the January 2021 Monthees. And here is your host Deshawn with the first category.
All right, so I am ready to start with the first category. For the first monthly award of the Chart Tangent Reports, we're going to call these the Monthees. These are the Monthees. These are not the Charties Awards. The Charties Awards will eventually be built up. We will have more panelists, more nominations, but these people could make the shortlist for the 2021 Charties Awards. All right, and this, for the viewers at home, is the new trophy that we will be handing out. It is not the main gold, but it is a Good Monthly award, and we can even mail these potentially. All right, and the first category is Song of January. And the nominees are Ariana Grande for 34 plus 35. Olivia Rodrigo for Driver's License. SZA for Good Days. And CJ for Whoopty.
This is stacked.
Yeah, this is the thing about the Chart Tangent Report. These categories be stacked, and everyone gets a shot for the crown. It's call me awards committees. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so I am going to start with Demisha, who is going to argue for 34 plus 35 for Song of January.
So Ariana Grande's 34 plus 35 up for January Song of the Year. January Song of the Month. Excuse me, it's been a long week. I believe she totally deserves that category because not only was the song a hit on its own, she was able to get two of the rap girls together for an extraordinary remix. She was joined by Megan Thee Stallion and Doja Cat to take the song to another level. It's not, as far as remixes go, that innovative. They did just add their verses to her already laid track, but their verses did add a level of spice and sultriness that the song was kind of missing. The video comes out this weekend. I'm looking forward to see how each of the girls puts their personalities on the forefront and continues to bring this song to life.
Marisha, Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. And your time starts now.
Okay, I shouldn't have to argue this. There literally was basically no other music in January besides Driver's License. Obviously you have a 17-year-old artist who's out the gate with a hit like this that's resonating with millions of people within days, like literally breaking its own record on Spotify day after day after day. I think it's sitting at over 200 million streams already. It's been out for a month maybe. And I think the thing with Olivia obviously was reminiscent of Taylor, it was reminiscent of Lorde, but also, this is an artist nobody really knew much about beforehand prior to this song coming out, regardless of what her past was, having released music coming from Disney and like kind of breaking that Disney mold, not really being beholden to what you expect from that kind of formula and not following that, and throwing the curse word in her debut song and just really taking everything by storm so earnestly.
Thank you. All right, SZA, Good Days, and that is Kyle, and your time starts now.
Well, when you look at the top 10, or basically the entirety of the Hot 100, there's no song that sounds like Good Days. You have SZA really just putting out a song that the fans were begging for since it was a snippet of the Hit Different video, and you have this sort of Jacob Collier R&B alternative sort of vibe to this track, and it's just so uplifting, and really you are looking forward to Good Days when you hear this song, and it's probably the most authentic thing we've had from SZA since Control. And to see it hit number 9 on both the US charts and the global charts, this song is connected to people just across the globe, and it's damn good. It may not, have the radio play that other songs have, but when I look back on January and I look back on what song was really getting people through this
honestly just terrible, crazy month. It was good news.
Thank you. And finally, Nate is arguing for CJ's Whoopty, and your time starts now.
I think for me, CJ's Whoopty should definitely clinch this category because he is by far the most unknown artist out of everyone nominated for the month. I feel like he has made great strides in the months of December and January to get this song into the top 10 on the Hot 100. And, you know, Pop Smoke's death definitely left a bit of absence for this kind of drill sound we've seen in the mainstream. And so I feel like CJ has filled that void with Whoopty more than any other drill song that has been released or charted since Pop Smoke's death. So that's why I think he should clinch the category.
All right. Thank you so much for arguing for CJ's Whoopty. And for our new panelists, do you see how, are you guys like getting the hang? Like, you see how it's going? Great job. Great job. So I am going to open up the rebuttals. First off, Larisha, I just wanted to say congratulations for appearing on the New York Times podcast to discuss driver's license. That was a huge win for the community. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What did you want to add for you had more to say about it before I cut you off with the time, but
yeah, no, definitely. I think the thing that I wish that I would have had a chance to talk about more, like both on podcasts and both in my paper piece about driver's license, is like the production aspect of that song and like how it really like pulls you into the world. Like it opens with the, you know, the car door sound, and you know there's like drops at the end of like basically each verse that like just kind of sounds like something like kind of winding down. It has like that electrical sound to it. And I think like that attention to detail in production is so important because it can really make or break a song, you know? And yeah, I think that between that and like just the drama that it brought along with it was just excellent, you know? Just even like obviously the song is good and like the best song of that love triangle drama releases, whatever. But just really kept people talking about the song, and you know, good for her for being like the bigger person in this situation and having, you know, coming out on top with the best song of all of them, the only song that people are actually talking about. And then having everybody else so bothered by it is just so funny to me. At the little, you know, I like the Sabrina song, but like it's not touching driver's license in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I think between all of that, I just really like, you know, stands out as the music moment of January for me.
I think what's interesting about driver's license is it's already got her competing against other people now. Like it's crazy how the stands latched on, and like you got Swifties helping her, but you got like disgruntled Lord stands that are like, this ain't melodrama, like this is
I
not.
thought that was weird because it also reminded me more of Lord's first album than it did Melodrama. Like that was like Melodrama was like Lord's a pop star, you know, that was Jack Antonoff production. Like this is, you know, way bigger compared to her first album. And that's what I heard in Olivia's music was like the youthfulness that people would attracted to with Lord in the first place. Like it was very suburban, it was very teenage, you know, I'm driving, this person's driving me somewhere, I'm hanging out with my friends, like I don't want to grow up, it feels so scary getting old. And I didn't get that from Melodrama in the way that I got, you know, Pure Heroin on driver's license.
Do you think that because she's already getting one hit wonder, like everyone goes through this when they enter the industry, but for her it's very unique. What do you think is going to happen in the future?
I think she's already not a one hit wonder. Like as you're watching the streams go up on driver's license, you look a slot below it on her Spotify stats, the streams on All I Want are going up. She already had a hit before driver's license, it just obviously wasn't on the same magnitude. But I think, you know, obviously the stakes are high, but she's been working on music. She's had like snippets of demos that she's put on Instagram over the past like year and a half, and like people are really gravitating towards that, asking her to release things in the same way that we like saw with SZA. Like there was just that snippet and people were just like, oh, I really want this. So obviously it's not on the same level of Good Days, but like there's already enough there for you to be aware that this isn't something that she just whipped up and isn't going to be able to do again. And she talked about it in her 9/11 interview. She was like, she's already not in the headspace where she's like, oh, I don't know if I can make another driver's license, because she's not going to try to. So she's already not, she's setting herself up to not fall into the trap of, oh, people are going to want me to do this again. I think she's really like sure of herself and her artistry to know that, you know, she can trust her instinct as a musician and be fine because of it.
Does anyone have anything else to say about driver's license?
If I were arguing for Good Days, driver's license will have my vote. I don't think I haven't got a day with a drop without playing at least 2 times. Like, it really is just such a solid track, even just out of the context of the controversy that I didn't even realize was like really deep for like people younger than me. Like my sisters are like into this. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But like the song itself is really just brilliant. So I'm really, really excited for her and just proud that, you know, she pulled this off on, you know, her first single. That's really, really big. So.
The thing about Good Days, I want to bring up for Good Days is like an R&B song is competing in a pop world right now. And I think a lot of people are pointing that out, like slowly but surely, we're all kind of realizing what it is.
But I think what's so great about Good Day is that there was a lot of talk last year, especially about a lot of our hit songs that hit #1 feeling manufactured or feeling like the success was being really forced. And I hate like to even bring up the word natural or organic, but like it literally just felt like people just genuinely gravitated towards the song. Because, you know, she had Hit Different, and I loved Hit Different. I know it got mixed reviews from a lot of people, and, you know, people loved it, people didn't like it, it was whatever. But like, people hear Good Days and they just feel something when they hear that track, and it does what music is supposed to do at the end of the day. And I think that's why she's able to, you know, actively compete against songs from music's biggest stars in pop and hip hop with a, you know, a staunchly R&B track. So.
In terms of Ariana Grande's 34 plus 35, I just want to say that it is one of my least favorite songs from Positions. And it always seems to work out like that, that they blow up the most. I mean, when Positions first dropped, like they were instantly playing 34, 35 everywhere, in all the stores, in the fast food places, wherever they were playing that song. So it's interesting seeing 34, 35 still be relevant where we can consider it a song for January. And like Demisha said, like the remix came out, but we can discuss the remix later in the show. And then for CJ's Whoopty, so I wanted to bring this to the table. I did not know that CJ's father was a former president of Bad Boy Entertainment.
Oh.
Yes, this was brought to our attention by the wonderful Alphonse Pierre of Pitchfork. He has a weekly column and he just pretty much like rips CJ's Whoopty apart. Just like naming it a Pop Smoke knockoff, basically. Like he caught me, I forgot about Chef G. He brought up Chef G in the discussion.
I also share similar feelings. I don't like the song.
Why don't you like the song?
It just sounds like you said, like a knockoff. It sounds like they realize what sounds are trending, what sound is popular. There was an opening, and this is not to discredit him as an artist. I haven't gone through and checked out any of his other songs, so I can't say if he has any other songs that are better or for worse. But for this song to be his introduction to me as a rapper, I didn't get anything spectacular that made me want to go listen for more. When the song first came on the radio, when I heard it for the first time, it was on the radio, and I Shazammed it, because the radio often does not do hip hop music justice in the way that it, edits out the profanities. So I went to listen to it, how it was, and I was just underwhelmed, because I couldn't really put a finger on who this person was, where they were from, or why they were making the song. Besides that kind of those harsh words, if it came on while I was out somewhere, off about 10 mimosas, it's gonna knock. And that's just the type of song that it is. I have a category of songs like in my head that I call like, oh, these are like in the moment songs. That's one of those songs for me. Like, I have to be in the moment where it's playing, and everything else just adds up perfectly for that song to just flow. Otherwise, it's kind of like you ever seen those memes like what you order and then versus what you got off Wish? So it's like what you ordered was like this big, extravagant, powerful, kind of haunting Brooklyn drill song, and then what you got was Whoopty. Which again, sometimes those what you got works for people. People often make use of the things that they get, although they're not what they intended to purchase. And again, it's working for him. It's growing on the charts, it's growing in popularity. I hear it more and more on the radio every day, but it's not anything I wanted.
There's
Sorry, DJ.
there's a lot of irony in all of that commentary because I could literally snatch your words and apply it to someone else that's been nominated tonight.
I can probably guess.
So I think there's a deep irony there because I feel the same way specifically about someone else on the list.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
I agree, honestly, with all that. It's crazy because I low-key like the song for that reason. Like, because it's a knockoff. I think I've played like Shoot for the Stars and all of my pop unreleased music and all the mixtape stuff so much that I'm kind of like tired of it now, but I still want that sound, right? Just not from those specific songs. So then I get a Whoopty and I'm like, you know what? You right in my playlist. Perfect. But like, I'm never like, oh, let me put on Whoopty. I just want to have it so it's going to come up later on in the queue, not that I want to press play on it on purpose. Then I listened to Bop afterwards. That wasn't very good. So we'll see what the third one sounds like. But that's interesting information about his father for sure. Now I have lots of questions about Whoopty's rise.
Yeah, that was very when I read it, because like that's Alphonse's lane. Like he's very snarky, and sometimes you're like, is he about to like rip apart one of my faves? Like, what's up? But he dropped that information. I was like, okay, it all makes sense now. So yeah, that is very interesting. That was very interesting to me about that. And the name of the article, it dropped on January 29th at the end of the month. It says New York drill rapper CJ is nothing but a shameless ripoff. And it's his column. It's his hip hop column for Pitchfork. Yeah, he went in. And James Cruz was once the president of Bad Boy Entertainment, and CJ is from Staten Island.
I knew it. Oh my!
I would have guessed as well.
I just knew. See, Staten Island people.
He gives me.
They just not right. They just not right. I knew.
I just think it's interesting because Pop Smoke's momentum is so. We're going to discuss that later in the show, but I wonder if this is like Get Back at 50, because like I was Google searching all of this stuff, like trying to like put pieces together more, and like I think I saw like a suggestion of CJ 50 Cent or James Cruz 50 Cent. So yeah, I don't know, because like the thing about these new artists, like they're kind of going at war for who's the big OGs that we grew up on. Like it's very interesting. So I'm going to look more into that dynamic, because I've been thinking about the way like 50 Cent has, I mean, he's pretty much like held it down now that we look at Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon being released in July. Like he's pretty much been holding it down for the music industry for about 7 months now of relevancy. So that's interesting, but I guess we'll discuss that later. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring to the table before we do the final vote?
I just wanted to piggyback off Kyle saying that like timing is a good thing in CJ's case. I definitely agree. I feel like Fivio, whichever iteration is correct, I feel like he had kind of been living in the shadow of Pop Smoke's success. And so I think CJ definitely benefited from timing, which is why I feel like if it's not nepotism / other factors, I do think timing is a big thing in his favor.
I want to big up Chef G and Smooth L. Those were honestly really great albums, and I wish that we saw some of them getting the traction that Whoopty is getting, because it's bad.
Yeah, it was kind of like, to me, it felt like Fresher was like putting that sound out a little bit more to me. Like I think about like Wait a Minute, and I think about how like he was on that tip, and I don't know. It's very interesting about like tracing the origins of just drill in general and like who did it first, basically. Especially when it comes to the New York scene, because I feel like the New York scene is starting to like splinter off into different boroughs of trap. I mean, like look at Staten Island's drill versus Canarसी's drill. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, now it's the final votes, and you can send in your your votes in to the DM. You cannot vote for your artist. You have to vote for a different artist. I forgot to mention that rule, but you cannot vote for your artist. So the nominees again are Ariana Grande's 34 plus 35, Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License, SZA's Good Days, and CJ's Whoopty. Nate, we are waiting for your answer. Okay, unanimous decision, and the winner, and it's unanimous because the person could not vote for their artist. The winner is, of course, Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License. Congratulations to Olivia Rodrigo, who will be making it to the final countdown. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I mean, she came from... She really surprised the whole industry. Everybody started releasing. I feel like some people had to release early. They was like, oh, we was planning on February. It's like, no, yeah.
Before we continue, remember to hit the subscribe button below for notifications on new episodes, bonus clips, and individualized categories. And remember to follow @ChartTangent on Twitter.